friends, it's Megan, and in today's video I'm attempting to recreate Claire Saffitz's best oatmeal cookies ever. So I was looking through YouTube the other day in search of more old Bon Appetit videos to binge, and I stumbled upon Claire's new channel. I think it's called Claire Saffitz X Dessert Person, which is also the name of her new cookbook. And I was like, that looks really good, and I was really excited. And then I realized that you actually need a food processor and a stand mixer, and you needed to chill the dough for 8 to 24 hours. So I was like, okay, you know what, I'm really tired right now, so I'm just going to wait until next week. And now it's next week, it's winter break, and I have nothing else to do, so I did it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy, and yeah. Hi, voiceover Megan is back. So we're starting off with the pecan brittle first. So for this, you'll need some granulated sugar, pecans, salt, baking soda, and some butter. So first I dumped out my pecans, and using a knife I just chopped those up kind of roughly because I wanted some big pieces to stay around so that when you bite into the cookie you can still taste that there's nuts in it. So after I chopped them up, I put them on a baking sheet, and then I let those roast at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 8 to 10 minutes, or until they smelt nice and toasty. My kitchen smelled so good during this part. Up next, we're pouring the granulated sugar into a small pot over medium heat, adding the butter as well as a little bit of water. Okay, so this is where it gets a little interesting, because apparently using a spatula to stir it around develops a lot of crystallization, so instead you're supposed to swirl the pan. But it worked. So after my caramel turned a nice golden brown, I added in my chopped pecans, as well as some baking soda and salt. And I definitely should have worked a lot quicker, but the idea is that you're supposed to dump it out on this parchment lined baking sheet and spread it out really quick, but I spent way too long trying to dump it out, so I ended up with a really thick piece of brittle. But anyways, after I let that chill for about 5 to 10 minutes, I used the butt of a knife to try and break it into bigger pieces, and then chopping it up into smaller pieces with the blade of the knife. The idea is that the largest pieces are supposed to be the size of a pea. That didn't really work for me, but chopping brittle was kind of frustrating, so I was okay with the bigger pieces. Next up, we're going to be making the cookie dough. So the ingredients you'll need are butter, all-purpose flour, salt, baking soda, old-fashioned oats, brown sugar, granulated sugar. So first off, I cut my butter into 2 sticks because one is going to go in the mixer and the other we're going to brown. So to brown the butter, I basically chopped the stick up into smaller pieces and let that all melt. And once it's melted, you want to keep stirring for about 5 minutes, or until this nutty aroma begins to develop. The butter will also turn a darker color and produce a lot of foam. I always get slightly concerned when browning butter because I just keep stirring and stirring, and in my head I'm like, oh, it's never gonna brown, it's never gonna brown. But then after like 5 minutes it browns. So I dumped my hot brown butter onto the stick of cold butter, and the idea is that the cold butter is supposed to bring the temperature down. Next up, in a food processor, I combined my flour, half of the oats, salt, baking soda, and half of the brittle mixture. Then I put the lid on and pulse that all together. The dry ingredients should look a little something like this, and then I added my brown sugar and my granulated sugar to the butters, and then using the paddle attachment on a stand mixer, I beat that until it just combined, but not fluffy. Then I added in my eggs one at a time. As well as my vanilla extract. Then I dumped in my dry ingredients. And the idea is that you're supposed to pulse this mixture so that it doesn't get overmixed. So I pulsed that all together just until the ingredients were combined. Then I added in the other half of my pecan brittle as well as the other half of my oats. Mixing that all together with a spatula. Then using a 2-ounce cookie scoop, I portioned the dough into individual balls and let that chill overnight.
24 hours later.
The day after, I took them out of the fridge, and I actually ended up freezing some of the cookie balls just because I couldn't eat 18 cookies in one sitting. As for the remaining cookies, I baked them off at 325 for about 16 minutes. Rotating them once around the 12-minute mark. And then after taking the cookies out, I let them chill on the pan for about 5 minutes. Okay, here we go. Here are the cookies. I'm very excited to try these. They definitely spread out a lot, like more than your average cookie. And I kind of noticed that when I watched Claire's video, and what I didn't notice was the fact that she rolled the dough into circular balls and then plopped them down after refrigerating them, so then when they baked, they spread out like evenly. I didn't do that, so I got some funky looking shapes, like this guy, and many more, but these kind of remind me of the lattice cookies that you would get from Trader Joe's, like the kind of thin, crispy, caramelly ones. But anyways, I'm gonna try this one. Here is what it looks like on the inside. Okay. This cookie is super sugary, but I think it's the sugar that gives it that crispy edge, but the inside is still super chewy. The oats also provide a lot of the chew, and I think that's why in the recipe it specifically says not to use quick cook oats and old-fashioned oats, because the old-fashioned ones definitely give it more of a chew than the quick cook ones. So all in all, I would probably give this cookie a 9.5 out of 10. It's very solid, it's very good. So yeah, this is definitely the cookie for you if you have a day where you have nothing and you just want to do something. Definitely not a fast cookie. This took a hot second. This took a while. But for me, the payoff was totally worth it, and I hope it is for you too. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Bye.
I see